Hi, I'm Mississippi Millie with John Broughton on Retrospectives on 3SERKC Radio. So thanks for listening and keeping the blues alive.
What would be your earliest musical memory when you can recall music for the first time having a profound effect on your life?
Oh, I guess when I was very, very young, my mother played piano in a Baptist church in Mississippi, and I guess my first emotion there was to watch her play and get involved in the music and just, give into it. That was my first experience about emotions and singing and that type of thing.
More specifically, what about blues music? What do you think it was that appealed to you there?
Well, coming from there is the same kind of emotion that in Mississippi, especially people in the Delta and even people up in the hills, they have sessions where they sing with the family and they play all types of music. But emotional music like the Delta, they say the Delta took it from the church, but I think it all sprung from one. It's like the pain and the sufferings that they felt that they were coming through with. And as a child, I felt that.
What about performing on stage to an audience? Were you confident in that straight away, or did it take a while to
Well,
develop?
I was 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
so I was very comfortable. I loved to sing, and I loved to dance. That was, like I said, that was part of the history of the area. People did that. Families gathered together over a fire outside in the backyard, and they would play and sing harmonica, guitar, whatever they had, And that's how I came into blues and singing and the emotion of it.
Sure. Who would have been some of the first singers to really grab your attention, to inspire you?
Oh, the first singer was Mrs. Minnie,
Mm-hmm.
a prolific blues writer. People in America don't know that much about her, but she was super. And of course, the father of Delta blues, Charlie Patton.
Of course.
And from Charlie Patton came Robert Johnson and John Lee Hooker and all the rest.
Yeah.
But those are the inspirations of the blues for me. I mean, I'm into Delta. As you hear in the recordings that I sent, that's, acoustic music is my heart. That's what I love. It fits my soul perfect.
Yeah. You have moved around quite a bit over the years. Have you noticed in different areas in the United States different styles of blues thrive in certain regions?
Of course, I was raised in Philadelphia, so I was used to a separate type of blues, more of a Chicago type blues. And when we went out to California, there's another type of blues out there, more West Coast type blues. So as a professional, and I've been a professional ever since I was around 12, singing, dancing. These are the type of venues I would play.
I believe, I think I read somewhere when you were in Philadelphia and you tried to sing Delta blues, the feedback wasn't all that positive.
Well, they weren't used to the music Delta blues. They were more in tune with Chicago blues.
Yeah.
They were more in tune with the electric blues, and that's been my fight. Is to try to show people what Delta blues is. The heart of the blues. It's the soul of the blues, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. That did make you more determined to really push the Delta blues?
Oh, constantly. I get in more trouble for doing it, because they know I can sing other things, and they would prefer that a lot of times in different venues. But there has to be at least 3-4 songs from the Delta. But they're beginning to come around now. I'll tell you, it's getting a little better.
You're winning them over.
Well, it's the emotion of the music, and right now that's what we need a little bit more of love and emotions and forgiveness and revealing our inner souls and our likes and dislikes and discussing it. That's the kind of music that helps you get over that, because you can tell your story without really offending people too badly.
Aside from acoustic blues being your first love, do you think you still have taken something musically and been influenced in some way by the various styles of music that have surrounded you in the various places you've lived?
Well, in Philadelphia, there's just there's nothing but the art form is blooming over. I was influenced by Dinah Washington, Billie Holiday. Instrumentally, John Coltrane. I mean, my musical background really stretches. I'm just not into Delta, but as Miles Davis saw with John Lee Hooker, the album he did with him, the soul is there, and if you never play Delta blues and never get into the real blues, then you can't really go too much further, even in jazz or gospel or anything else, because that's where, as far as I'm concerned, it all came from.
Now, I believe you even took opera lessons at one stage. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. Boy, you've read the you've read the rest of it. Yeah, I did. That's what I meant when I said it's not that I'm not versed in other things to do. It's just that the story. I've even written a play, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
One woman show to try to get this through. I mean, that's been my main message: is the beauty and the soul of the people that created this music. It just has to be told, and it is told once you hear once you hear Robert Johnson. I mean, Charlie Patton is a little bit older, so you might not be able to really get into his music, but once you hear Robert Johnson and some of the rest of the Delta players, you have to know the soul that they're trying to get through to you. It's real human feelings and emotion, and people who have worked hard to come from nothing to where they are there, making their own instruments, creating their own music. So it's very exciting for me to tell the story. I love it.
Just harking back to those opera lessons, do you think did you take anything from those lessons that you still apply to your singing today?
I learned a lot. The one thing I've learned that you always are learning, and music is a great instrument to learn life from. Rock and roll, opera, gospel, all of it. It's just folk. It's human emotions and human connections that you make, and you make it through your voice, playing an instrument, beating drums or whatever. But it's communication with other human beings.
Now, there was a group you were involved with called Orleans.
I beg your pardon?
There was a group that you were involved with called Orleans, is that right?
The Orleans.
Orleans, sorry.
Yeah.
It's my Australian accent, sorry about that. What can you
That's okay.
What can you tell us about them?
The Orleans. Well, the Orleans was a group, a Philadelphia group, back in the 60s, and their lead singer took ill, and I took the group over and toured all over with some. It was real exciting, but it was just too restrictive for me for the type of music that I really like. But I did it, and I got a lot of experience and got well known. But I still kept the Delta and the blues going too, also.
Now, your first time in Nashville, you worked as a songwriter. Is that right?
Yes, right. With Hal Neely. Yeah, I was signed with Starday King.
How do you look back on that time now?
Well, I was very young. It was, as I said, it was an experience that I had never known before. No one else and my family could take me there, and it was a place I had to go by myself. I learned to do what I'm doing now, to write songs, and to write this one-woman show. And I really honed all of my energy in music at that time as a professional.
Now, you also spent some time in California, as you mentioned earlier. And tell us about the blues scene that you found there.
Well, I'll tell you what, California was not bad at all. California really, I grew up in California, I think, because I found there that there were people from all over the world that knew about the blues, and it was just so much easier. It was much more comfortable there than in Philadelphia, to be very honest with you, because they knew more about the music. They could appreciate what I was trying to do, and it made it easier for me, so that I enjoyed it better.
So, what prompted you to try Nashville a second time?
I always loved Nashville, I always wanted to come back to my roots, especially going into the Delta stuff like I'm doing now. And I knew it would be better to be closer to home than in the West Coast for players, and to get my original things cut and recorded. Which, I don't know if you recognize Jeff Lane, but I met him here the second time back, thinking he was out of the Delta. And then finding he was from down under, and I said to him, I said, well, he's still a bro. Because he plays like he just came, out of the swamp. So I just loved him.
No, Jeff's one of our hometown boys here, and certainly very loved and respected here as well. You've had some, other than Jeff, you've also had some other fine musicians play with you over the years and play in your band. So what do you look for in a musician to make them one that you want to work with?
Well, their understanding of their instrument first, and their sincerity. That's basically what makes a great artist. They're not that cocky that they don't respect other ways of doing things. That way.
Let's talk about your new CD. Did you know exactly what you wanted to achieve with this record?
I wanted to present something that was different, and I knew it wouldn't, jump on the charts or anything right away. But I wanted to present something different that they knew about, but in my way, as a female artist, blues artist. Say, not trying to do particularly the male part, but telling the story from a female point of view. The same as Memphis Minnie did, who was also from Mississippi, even though she had the name Memphis Minnie.
Are you already planning ahead for your next release?
Yes, I am. I am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some things down and then put them on the internet, put them on my website, and let people hear it, and kind of like uh, help me produce and get it together, and let me know what they like and not like, and things like that, and different little items to encourage them to keep coming. So we're working on a real intimate type of website, and I'm hoping we'll be through with it shortly.
Fantastic. Sounds great.
Yeah, it's a place you can come and get little things, Delta things, and leave quotes and take quotes and pick up music and stuff like that.
Now, you mentioned it earlier, but I'm sure you'd love to tell us a lot more about it. Mother Blues. Tell us all about the
Mother Blues. Mother Blues is my heart. This is the one play I started in L.A. and I finished it here in Nashville. So I've been working on it for quite a while, over 10 years. And it's about the blues and the Delta between 1937 to 1949, around that time. It's that era of the Delta blues.
And what would be your ultimate plan for this? Where would you like to see it go?
Well, I'd like to perform it, and it's a mixture of old and new ideas. So I'd like to shop it and open it up in not a huge place, but an intimate, maybe 500-600, seater club or theater, and present it. We'll let the world see what it is. I'd like to film it also. That way I can put it on the internet.
Ah, right.
And that's what we've been busy working on, trying to get all of those things together.
Is it the sort of show you could see yourself taking on the road?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And it would be very easy to do because it's not that complicated. It's like the blues, simplicity.
Yeah. Simple way is the best way to go.
Yeah. But we would love to shop it. And I think once we do the showcasing of it and put it on film, and that way you can see parts of it on the internet, I think they'll like it. They seem to, as they hear the music, and kind of it's a little different than they are normally used to hearing, especially people who are used to Chicago blues. I find converts coming around. So.
Something else you're involved with that caught my attention was the Blues in the Library program.
Yes, I started that out. Willie Dixon's wife in L.A., she has the books for kids in school, and she started that program. So I started helping her with that, and that's getting young members of the community interested in music and interested in the music of their past, how their people made their instruments and played music and who they were, and the whole story, because a lot of people didn't know that. So, especially black kids in America. So we thought that was real important to let them know where rock and roll and all that stuff, how that formed to come to be. So that was fun, and I'm still doing it, and we're still doing things like that, because if you don't educate people to the blues, they'll never know anything about it.
That's right.
To me, the blues is soul of music here in the States, because everything else came from Europe, really, that they were playing, and then this music came, and it was beautiful music. So, it's all improvised, it's all created right then and there. So you can't ask for anything more creative than that.
So
Like
true.
the sun coming up and the moon, setting at night, and sun going down in the evening. I mean, it's natural. It's a natural form of music. Is how I feel about it.
Millie, thanks so much for your time. It's been a treat catching up with you today.
Well, it's been wonderful, and let me thank you very much for being a wonderful person to bring people like myself to the rest of the world. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure indeed. Congratulations on a fine CD, and we look forward to the next one.
Oh, thank you.
We look forward to seeing Mother Blues on stage in Australia one day.
Oh, listen, from your lips to God's ears. I hope so.
That would be wonderful.
Yes, it would be. But look for it on the website, MississippiMillie.com. And we're working on it. And you know how the blues is. Take a little time, but we'll get there.
Fantastic. Okay. Thanks again, Millie.
Thanks, John.
All the best.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.